The principle that Rebbe is going to present to us in a kind of a presentable manner, not just the principle, the dogma, so to speak, about the AYIN, that you should have some kind of a means of grasping it, is how ratzon is not affected by all its content. And even though everything that comes is initially contained in the ratzon, and then it is further initiated and invigorated by the ratzon. The ratzon, however, remains above, unaffected and undefinable by these qualities. It's called in a nitvas mazah. Ratzon cannot be defined as wanting this sphere or that sphere, or even in the human being, as we said. All the various things I don't want to go into the length in Marshall. The human being has varied interests. The principle behind all those interests is the power of the ratzon, and I said the ratzon has a general will, a general identity with reality, with life, which he wants to participate in, and that is not identifiable by any of the things that are practiced therein.
That comment there, ratzon is an acknowledgement that life is real and the wanting to participate. Something like that was said.
Okay, now acknowledgement is incorrect. Ratzon is the one that presents it. Acknowledgement sounds like there are two different entities. Ratzon is the one that identifies, that brings a person the vigor in his life. You see something interesting. This morning, as a matter of fact, I always speak about this horizon. This morning the horizon was beautiful.
Sky, beautiful, purple.
But the reason it is beautiful, the reason it impresses us that way, is due to a much more much more meaningful element in our sense of reality. This beauty of the horizon is only reminding us of the greatness of reality itself. And this is initiated by the ratzon. Not ratzon anything specific, ratzon. Excuse me, the ratzon of nefesh. Eventually we'll be able to pin down some kind of a terminology for ratzon. All right, so we are starting 5 lines from the top. Page Kuf Nun at the end of the line. And we are the Rebbe is going to explain to us the basis of the principle that the ratzon includes and contains all the things that come from it, behashva, in total equality. There is not anything that is more important or less important, higher, closer, or further. Everything is ratzon based, equally.
And the line started what?
The line started with the Rashativas mikol. There's one instance that we can kind of focus into this general principle. We said many times that a human being is a perfect creature that the REBBE created as a human being. And this shleimus is necessary on a practical level. There could be some blemish, but in essence, the shleimus of the human being is very important. Particularly, it manifests in Avedas HaKorban, Aveda Kohen. A Kohen is not allowed to do Aveda if he has any kind of blemish. And what constitutes a blemish? We spoke about this many times. There is not a limit.
I'm sorry, someone wants to try to go into the video.
Oh, let me get there 1 second.
What
Okay, done.
Okay, what constitutes a blemish? An imperfection in the toenail constitutes a blemish in the human being. Can one say that the toenail is equally important as some vital organs, vital functional organs, eyes and ears? From a practical purpose, of course not. But in terms of the perfection of a human being, it renders him imperfect. Because the perfection of a human being is of a higher column, is as I said, at the level of ratzon, of the definition of what the human being is, not of his functional qualities.
But this mashal of the Kohen is how all features are absorbed b'hashva. All is included. Why did the Kohen come up? How did that relate?
To show how the halacha tells you that any minor blemish in a person reduces his perfection. Why is that? It's not only because of for perspective of the B'Shamnidash, because a person is a perfect creature, directly created by God. And if he has a blemish, he is not B'Tzamein Kid Musayin. Let me go back to a principle I discussed many, many times. When a human being builds something, he builds a table. That's the easiest thing to demonstrate. A table begins from choosing some wood, making boards, making legs, and putting these things together one by one, and on the basis of some kind of a design, and then ultimately it comes out a person. A person cannot create a table per se. He can build things that demonstrate the concept of a table. The REBBE does not create this way. But the REBBE said, "Nasa Odom Tzalmedik L'Sein, let us make a human being, not Tzalmedik L'Sein." He created Odom Tzalmedik L'Sein. Also, 613 different parts of the human being are included in that one statement. It was not created. Person created the head, the eye, then the ear, and then the leg, and then the concept as is what the human being is. That's how the REBBE created. And that concept is brought forth in a physical world, miraculously, but the physical world, the physical structure of the human being is demonstrated that concept as it is conceptualized in the divine concept. This is why there's an inherent perfection.
Right, and that relates back to our first principle we started with, introduction. What was said at the beginning of today's shir, that all is included in the ratzon inequality.
Oh, please call in. I didn't call in.
I think it hangs up. Can the person call the conference line?
Okay, I'm calling right now.
Welcome to IDT Connect. Please enter
saying
your
that-
conference
My wife
ID
just
followed
texted me
by
I should call in.
welcome to the thank you. You are now entering the conference room. To exit the conference room, press star star. For help, press star 9. Participant number 2.
Okay.
So we mentioned the Kohen because he exhibits this kind of perfection,
The halacha exhibits this principle.
and the principle is that all is included in the ratzon equally.
Right? And if you want to be even more subtle in your expression, what included is like included piecemeal, but contained is more to the point, more to the reality.
And for whatever reason, by the rest of us, if there's a blemish, it's sort of insignificant. But by the Kohen, he had to be this sort of model of perfection, indicating.
The Kohen is doing avodah b'samigdash.
Yeah, indicating this moment of creation, indicating that man is not like the table. He is not composite. He is.
No, wait a second. Man is not man-made. Now the table is not the question. The Rebbe makes the table also that way. But Rebbe makes it on a wholesome manner. He created the sun. Did he create the sun piecemeal? Or he correlated the moon and the sun and the stars piecemeal? No. This is one entity. The Rebbe wanted that there should be day and night, and day is sun and night is moon.
Right. We also seem to take this principle in the opposite direction, that man has an essence, and whatever disabilities or imperfections he has, his essence remains, and hence everybody has value.
Very good, very good. So finish that off. Where does that essence come from?
This is reflecting again this first moment of creation, let's call it. But so good. But why? So by the base of Mikdash, he had to physically exhibit those qualities. You might think in the rest of life also, but no. We're very compassionate to people who we acknowledge their inner perfection.
Functionally, the human being is not capable of living up to that perfection. He can complement it by the kavanas and mitzvahs and kavanas of what he learns and so forth. When a person learns something, he learns one very simple sentence. It takes him time to absorb it, to bring it out from his seichel.
So he's sort of limited within time and space.
Because he's a human being, yeah, because he functions in time and space. But this is why we say there is chokhmah. This is what the Rebbe says: chokhmah, bina dat. Chokhmah is that moment in the human being where he's fully a human being.
Okay.
Dynamically, directly. This is exactly what the Rebbe is going to explain now.
Right, and just by avodas kohanim, they could not make up by kavana any imperfection. Their physical imperfection rendered them not fit for the avoider. Mashain can by the rest of us, mikdash ma'at, you come, you pray, you do what you can, that's good and well. But over there, no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Over there, you're right in the Kedusha itself.
Okay.
V'ho'inyan at the end of fifth line. V'ho'inyan the principle of this, behind this, this what we discussed, what you explained, that in the ratzon all is contained by hashvoin in total equality. And every detail is of equal importance. Because you're talking about the ratzon, which is above all detail. The union in this, the principle in this is to understand it, to elaborate on it. The hine, for behold, this boy Eliyil, we explained earlier, the oir, that oir, here we have to really bring forth our neshama level of seichel. What is neshama level of seichel? Seichel, as we experience it in our worldly experience, is a structure that comes piecemeal, and it is being proven by various experiences, and we come to a conclusion. The conclusion is not a simple pshitus conclusion. We have proof of everything that we do. I don't want to deviate into the Mishonim that we've discussed already many times. But just one statement, one quick statement. A table stands not because it had four legs, but because a table is supposed to stand. That's the concept of a table. And what does standing mean? Standing means a table is supposed to be in front of the human being, and it's supposed to be there to serve him in perfect obedience. Perfect access. Perfect access means that it is stationary, reliable. If I touch it, it's not going to fall apart. All of that, this is part of the experience of a table. He's accomplished practically by various things, a good carpenter, a good wood, and so forth. But ultimately, what is he demonstrating? What is he building? He's building a real table. He's trying to emulate the concept of the table in practice. This is the meaning of neshama concept, neshama seichel. This neshama seichel, okay, this is where we begin to understand the term oir. So if you was inside, in this boiler yield we explained earlier, the oir, that oir is of such a status and represents such an inyan, that even that which is nimshach from it, even that which is manifest from it, hakoil hu bibchinas oir, it is all of the caliber and the quality of oir. What is, let's put our thinking for a moment before the Rebbe elaborates. What does that mean to us? It is b'chinas oir. in our simple experience, oil reaches us effortlessly. Nothing can interfere with oil. Like we said, the sun brings oil. It just encompasses the world with oil. Oil is a reflection. Let me give us a little bit an approach to it. Many times we said, you have a home, and in this home there is the owner of the home. You come into his home and you see him sitting there. When you see him sitting there, all of a sudden the home becomes a home. Before that it was a structure, it was a house. When you see the human being living there, it becomes a home. What has changed? What is his present effect? His present effect that this is a living home. The oil of this presence of this human being encompasses this house, every corner, every last corner. This presence of the human being in this home is the oil of what a human being is. We said many times, when a person owns a home and he steps into it, it takes no time, but literally no time, for him to be present throughout the entire home. Because oil is a reflection of the reality itself. As soon as he steps into the home, he is present everywhere. That's oil. And as the Rebbe starts off over here, one of the principles in oil is there is the oil as it is drawn and manifest from the essence, and then this oil expresses itself in the various parts of where it reaches, like a human being in the home, and the human being is in this room and in that room and in that floor. Each one of these floors and each one of these rooms have a different function. But they're all this human being, this person's home. Despite the fact that each room has its function, and each piece of furniture has its function, it is not the function that identifies with the person. It is the oil of the person that this is his dwelling. This is what the Rebbe says. The hamshochas v'giluyim, that which is drawn from the oil, and that which is expressed from the oil. According to b'chinas oil, it's all of the quality of oil, which means it is effortless and is directly reflective of the reality itself. Directly. I'll be said, it takes no time for this oil to encompass the whole home. But literally no time, not it's very fast. No time, principally. This is b'chinas oil. It's in the b'china of oil. Oil remains oil at all levels. In its initial source and everywhere where it reaches. Behind which means to say, the leva, that besides, in addition to the fact שההמשוך is the makif gufo, that the המשוך is of the makif itself. Ukmei המשוך המקיפים והפרוטים, as for example, makifim והפרוטים, we'll go back the specific makifim, there said before there are many makifim. So the המשוך of the oil makif, hein המשוך is b'chinas oil. המשוך is in a makif that represent the makif. And המשוך is that qualify as oil. What does a human being, how does a human being present himself in his home? By the oil of his presence, not by the human being, by the oil of the human being. Even the makif, even the claim of this is my home. Is mibchinas oil. So this is the makif. The makif means the initial statement that encompasses the entire reality. Speaking back to the human being, a human being owns his home. This is an oil element. In this home there are many different rooms. Each one of these rooms represents an oil of the human being. Not an oil, the oil of the human being. Why is in the house there is a dining room and a living room and a bedroom? Because this is the house of a human being. It is all a reflection of the reality of the human being. Each one of them. So makifim are clearly b'chinas oil. Hine, but behold, gam ma shenimshech mimenu b'chinas oil pnimi. Even that which comes from the oil, b'chinas oil pnimi, b'chinas pnimi, in the oil pnimi aspect. Like we already stepped into that. We said a dining room and a living room. This is like oil pnimi relative to the home in general. It is also b'chinas oil, as we're going to see. Even that which is nimshach from the oil, b'chinas oil pnim, or b'shor shoy, in the parentheses. Or b'shor shoy, this oil pnimi, at its root level. We already explained what the meaning of a root is. Root is that which, when it begins within the source itself, not when it's being created outside, but within the source itself. It is the projection, where he projected within himself. He wanted himself to have this effect, to present himself b'mido gvul. Please understand these words. It was not only mido gvul that he wanted to give. What he wanted to present himself a mido gvul. This is shir b'yatzmai. Like we just now finished saying, l'habron, coming back to the human being. Living room and dining room have their functions. But they both represent one principle. This is a human abode. The oyer aspect, wherever it goes, it remains oyer. A direct reflection of the reality itself.
The meaning of the words inside is the bracket here. V'shoshahu b'bchinas, and the root is that shehashara
Hashara, the projection, or sheshir beyatzmi.
Yeah, what's the two?
Sheshir beyatzmi, that he had identified within himself. He projected within himself lahoyer b'mido gvul, to present himself b'mido gvul. We have to turn into our mashalim. We had a human being. We have the phenomenon of the sun projecting itself everywhere in the world. It comes in the form of light. But more importantly, it presents itself. When we have daylight coming through our windows, we say, oh, the sun has risen. We don't say, we have light. Practically, we have light. But we don't get up because we have light. We get up because the sun has risen. All right. So Shir b'yatzmi, he defined within himself to lahoyer, to give off light, to give off his presence, b'mido gvul, in a mido gvul manner. Even though he's giving mido gvul, but it is not a separate creation. It is reflective of his presence. Just as a dining room is reflective of the human being. The oyer ze atzmai. Okay, the next line is going to be the summation of this. The oyer ze atzmai. This oyer itself, that is identified in a mido gvul. The oyer, this oyer itself is hu b'bchina shefa al derech Moshe. Is in a shefa level, because it presents a specific point, a specific effect. L'hod b'mido gvul. If mido gvul, it's a shefa, is giving this part quality and this quality. But hamshachosoy mehoyer makif, but it's emanation from the oil makib, how this oil atzmit is shefa, a level of shefa, how it is it comes from the oil makib, hainem oil ho in sof. Oil makib means how it comes from the oil ho in sof. Who bibchina sof. Despite that this is in essence of shefa, it comes from the oil makib in an oil manner. And we had just now discussed the motion that demonstrates it. We have sunlight, which illuminates this particular room. This is light. Oh, I'm able to see. But what is the real gift of this light? It's not that you switched on light in this room and you're able to see. He brought the oil of the shemesh. He brought the reality of the shemesh. Hamshachosi is bibchinas oyer. We didn't have to switch anything out. It came because the sun is there. That's why we have this oyer. So even though it is a very limited and a functional aspect of this hamshacha, the hamshacha itself is in an oyer manner.